Welcome to the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, the #1 source of urban conservative information in America.
Good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. We will begin this Morning Report with a major shakeup at the Department of Justice. As newly confirmed Attorney General and King High School, Tampa, Florida graduate, Pam Bondi wastes absolutely no time getting into her agenda.
Has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president has
We're
called,
also worried about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know
called
what we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
the
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You are
is
aware,
through the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it. I won't play politics with any ongoing investigation.
So let me ask you another.
Like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you'd be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question is,
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important.
So after a contentious but ultimately successful confirmation process, Bondi was sworn in following a 54-46 vote in the Senate. Analysts across the board, including CNN's chief legal expert, Eli Hong, recognized her as one of the most qualified individuals to assume this post in the past 50 years. And this is what they've been afraid of. What they know most about Pam Bondi is that she's competent and she's talented. And if she goes after you, she's going to get you. And her first actions in office are already making headlines. Bondi has moved swiftly to cut all funding to sanctuary cities, signaling a return to a stringent federal immigration enforcement. She also ordered immediate investigations into what she called anti-Trump lawfare, a term used to describe legal cases brought against former President Donald Trump, or President Donald Trump. Additionally, she reauthorized the use of the death penalty in federal cases where appropriate and directed federal prosecutors to prioritize cases against violent drug traffickers. Yeah, this is Florida, baby. This is Florida in the house. This is Florida in the house. So a memo issued to DOJ attorneys underscores the department's new direction, emphasizing zealous advocacy for enforcing federal laws, which is what their job is, and defending executive policies. Bondi warns that any DOJ officials refusing to execute their duties in good faith will face disciplinary actions up and including termination. So, among the first items under review are these: cases brought against Donald Trump. That includes prosecutions led by people like Special Counsel Jack Smith, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, New York Attorney General Letitia James. These cases, Bondi's office says, will be scrutinized for potential political bias or prosecutorial overreach, which is ought to be easy because they are all about political bias, and they all involve some prosecutorial overreach, all of them. Meanwhile, Bondi is moving to end the moratorium on federal executions. She is directed, because this is Florida, baby. This is Florida. She has directed prosecutors to seek the death penalty in cases involving violent drug trafficking crimes. Part of the broader effect is to crack down on cartel operations and transnational criminal organizations. To what I think a lot of people don't understand is that these cartels, especially, Sinaloa and some of the others, are brutal, absolutely brutal. And you can't put them in jail long enough to frighten them off. They'll run their criminal enterprise from jail. So the only choice you have in some of these cases is, if they get convicted, is to kill them. So speaking of cartels, the Justice Department will work closely with the Department of Homeland Security to neutralize their influence. Bondi's strategy includes prioritizing the dismantling of cartel infrastructure over the prosecution of low-level offenders. To streamline these efforts, she's also temporarily suspending certain bureaucratic procedures that could delay prosecutions of major criminals. So get down in there and mess up their infrastructure, which is actually genius in the sense that their infrastructure is what makes them as effective as they are. So with these moves, Bondi is sending a clear message. The Justice Department is shifting gears. Supporters hail her strong stance on law and order, while of course critics will argue that these policies could spark legal and political battles. Okay. Spark it. Let's go. Florida, baby. That's all for now, folks. Stay tuned as we follow this developing story and many others. Thank you for tuning into the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.